There's kind of this trend of like mom-induced eating disorders on their
Mhm.
children, on their daughters, because mom's like, don't eat this, 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 and this.
Mm.
And maybe they actually could eat most of those things, but mom thinks everything is bad. And I've had to check in with myself because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, am I just inducing like food fear on my children? Because I do try to educate them though, and like encourage my children to understand, like, hey, this is why we're eating this, and, help them to understand why we don't eat that. But I could see how, like, in your situation, like, that would be really frustrating as a family too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you put that so succinctly. I was on absolutely that trajectory to do that to my own children. Thankfully, the Lord intervened and we've had such a drastic turnaround from those days. And I'm skipping over a lot in between, so please don't hear that our story was, overnight or easy or without hardship and trial and error. But the Lord really took me out of those days of feeling like food was the enemy. We can't eat anything. We're never going to heal until we eliminate the nightshades, the nuts, the beans, everything. And then I found this world of more ancestral eating, whole food eating, letting go of that food fear, but then also still sticking to those, I think, righteous boundaries of I'm going to eat what God created. I'm not going to eat processed packaged food. And I think, I just have to define when I say I don't want to walk in fear of food, I'm talking about real food. I think that we have some necessary caution around foods that didn't exist 200 years ago. All that to say, we have now entered this world of a lot of food freedom where we are eating the rainbow. Almost nothing is off limits in terms of real whole food. We incorporate, all kinds of things. And the way that you prepare it is so important. The way that you prioritize things on a biologically appropriate level is important. How much am I eating certain foods in proportion to how they would have been offered in nature, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All those things are so important, while also, like you said, teaching your kids the importance of enjoying real food without giving way to this diet culture fear mentality of, well, I can't eat dairy that's, organic, or I can't eat rice, or, there's all these parameters that we put around food that I really do think are making us fearful. They're possibly making us sicker.
Yeah.
And so I love that we are on the other side now and now get to walk in food freedom and, point people toward just how much food really can heal.
I love that.
Well, it's interesting too, like thinking on a spiritual level, like I can't help but think about, when we place things above God, like the fact that like that all the food and the fear of food is almost like consuming your time and energy, so that is like the main focus of your day. The focus of your life is like, oh, I gotta like avoid this and make sure, we're eating this way and not doing that. And, it becomes almost like an idol in a spiritual way. But like you found that freedom from that. It was kind of like, it sounded like it was like center of your life, but you found freedom from that. And it's just, I couldn't help but make the parallel of like, how the Lord frees us from our sin. We're no longer like slaves to that, but we find freedom in the truth.
And it's like you look at our life on a day-to-day basis, and there's continual challenge to our nature as kind of this struggle between good and evil, but yet we always just need to look to God to be our freedom. And yet sometimes we're like, no, I got this. I'm going to do it, Lord. Like, I'm going to take control of this situation. But the true freedom is in allowing Him to take control and lead, guide, protect, and direct us.